Now, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has blamed the American President Donald Trump directly for the casualties that have happened during the crackdown on protests against the country's clerical leadership. Now, Iran has said that it is open for dialogue with the United States, but is accusing the Americans and the Israelis, especially their intelligence agencies, the CIA and the Mossad, for inciting violence inside Iran. Our next report tells you more.
A wave of chaos that spiraled into deadly demonstrations in Iran is slowly subsiding and moving towards normalcy. The ramifications of protests that lasted for about 2 weeks are still being felt. Families of protesters and those who fled the Islamic Republic still recall the horror. Rubina Aminian's family believes the college student was killed by a bullet fired by Iranian security forces.
She knew that doing nothing would never bring the future she dreamed of. So, she acted. She was practical, determined to gain her freedom. She went out unarmed, carrying only her voice and her body to call for freedom. And she was killed on her way toward freedom and a better life.
It was the biggest test of diplomacy to stop the bloodshed in a country whose economic perils are piling on. US President, who hailed a new era of freedom for Iran and promised to send help, warned Iran's clergy to stop the killings or pay the price. Iran, on its part, accused Israel of inciting violence and pushing US to intervene in its internal affairs.
They wanted to increase the number of deaths. Why? Because President Trump has said that if there are killings, he would intervene. And they wanted to drag him into this conflict, and that was exactly an Israeli plot.
Russia, who shares a strategic partnership with Iran, stepped into the fold. Vladimir Putin spoke to his Iranian counterpart, Masoud Pezeshkian, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a bid to cool tensions. For Trump, who was weighing in options in Iran, ended up thanking the Iranian Authority for cancellation of what he called planned executions. But Trump was clear. He will gauge what unfolds in Iran.
Well, we're going to see. As you know, Iran canceled the hanging of over 800 people. They were going to hang over 800 people yesterday, and I greatly respect the fact that they can't.
With over 200 hours of widespread internet blockade, it has become difficult to differentiate between facts and facade in Iran. Iran is yet to ascertain the number of deaths in the protests. However, international human rights groups say the figure is certainly above 3,000 and could be much higher. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has lashed out on Trump, accusing him to be involved with the rioters.
The peculiarity of these riots was that the President of the United States himself got involved. He spoke out, expressed his views, and made threats. He encouraged the rioters, sent them messages from the United States, I will say later who it was, telling them to go ahead, to move forward without fear. He said, "We support you. We will provide you with military support." In other words, the U.S. President himself became involved in the unrest. He is part of it. On the surface, the chaos is turning into calm. Iranian officials say schools in the capital is due to open in 24 hours. Reports say SMS services are being activated and domestic internet services are slowly being restored. Iran says it is open to dialogue with US, but continues to blame Washington for incitement of violence. Is Washington just keeping a watchful eye on Tehran, or is it a ticking time bomb waiting to explode? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.